for once.
Yes, I think they're kind of committed that this is going to be a yearly event, and I encourage them to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any petitions or public comments or community events that are not on the agenda?
I do have something I want to say.
Sure. Please stand, say your name.
My name is Cal Ryer. I live up on 14 Mountain Road. I have to tell you, I'm a little upset. There's been a turn of events. First of all, I met with Bob to, as a turn, one of the things that we did, donated some things for the Haas golf tournament, raised money for the Haas scholarship. When he came to the house to pick it up, he noticed I had a mini excavator in the yard that he'd forgotten that I had. And he asked if the town could borrow it to do some work that they couldn't get other equipment into. And I readily agreed to that. I was happy to do it. At some point later, he also suggested that he knows I burn wood, and that if the town was going to be cutting some trees, and that he would send the guys by and drop some wood off to thank me. So I'm very happy with that. Since then, there's been some action around the town complaining that I got wood. And I don't know, I understand, it's my understanding that there is no specific policy on who can get wood or whatever. So I don't understand the issue. He was thanking me for loaning the equipment, and I appreciated it. As far as the complaint about me getting it, some things went on, and from what I've heard, there was a comment made about it not being a good old boy network or something like that. And that offends me. The network, what is a good old boy thing? I've been a resident of the town my whole life. We participate in the Haas tournament. My wife participated in the Rosendale run. We do the blood drives. We shop around town, the auto parts store, pizza place, the food center, all those things. And my son is serving currently in Afghanistan. When he's not doing that, he's home. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
When he's not doing that, he's a member of Rosendale Fire Department. He's a chief. And so I don't understand, am I a second-class citizen that whatever network I happen to be in isn't the right network? I'm a resident. I'm a citizen of the town. I do things. I loaned equipment to the town, expecting nothing in return, and somehow I feel like something wrong happened, and I don't understand that at all. I understand that it's also potentially caused some problems for Bob, that there were complaints made that he was doing that, and I don't think that should happen. So I don't understand that. And if what I was doing was not being part of the community, then what was it? So I don't know how else I can address that. I hope I've been clear enough. Like I say, I'm pretty upset about it. I don't think I should have to feel this way for doing it, what I felt was a good deed.
Can I speak? So I am the person who spoke with Bob, and the town truck had delivered wood to a private resident, and that's on town time, town paid employees. And I called Bob to speak with him directly about it, just he and I. And I called, not going out there and making huge accusations publicly or anything else, but I contacted Bob and I wanted to hear what the story was. Is that correct, Bob?
That's
So we met, and he explained to me that it was essentially a barter arrangement, and he has barter arrangements, and I don't know if the highway department has always done barter arrangements. I personally don't have any problem with barter arrangements. However, it's important that the town, every exchange, anything that involves taxpayer money has to be transparent and accountable. And it involves that. It involves involving staffing time. The wood is a whole different issue. But, that's the reason
Why is the wood
for
a
it.
whole different issue?
Well, the wood itself has value.
I'm sorry?
The wood itself has value. And I talked to Bob. I know they're doing a lot of cutting of preventative cutting and cutting down of ash trees. And I suggested that if we have an excess of wood, there are a lot of people in town that can use firewood, and that we post it publicly, that it's available to everyone. And that's where he and I left the conversation. So
I'd like to say something. Councilman, did you know about this?
I heard about it afterward.
Did you know about this,
I
Councilman?
received a phone call from the
When?
highway superintendent.
What?
I told,
Yesterday?
Okay, well, I'd like to say something right now, and this has happened before. I'm not running again, but I'm not done, and my job isn't done for the next 2 months. I am the liaison of the highway department. I did not know about this until about 18, 20 minutes ago. Nothing about this. Councilman Metzger, why didn't you reach out to me and tell me, since I'm the liaison of that? Why didn't you reach, and this has happened before, that's why I'm a little bit hot under the collar. I remember having a similar topic about a committee that I was the liaison of and not being privy to know about what was going on. Why wasn't I addressed about this issue? So I could do my job.
well,
Well, what?
I probably should have told you, but
You
I
probably
also
should have.
have the right to speak to the highway superintendent.
Okay, well, you know what? From now on, you're the liaison of the police department. I brought up the situation with spare keys and those police cars being running unlocked. Worry about yours. When it comes to my committee, address me so I can deal with it. And don't make it like a personal thing here.
Okay, Bob, how would you like to deal with this?
I just told you. I'm the liaison of that department. You inform me so I can be privy to it. It seems to me that Councilman Hughes and Councilman Palacios had a lot more knowledge about this whole situation, and I'm the liaison. Once again, I feel like a fool because I didn't even know. Is that fair to me being the liaison?
Well,
Well-
Bob, my apologies for not calling you and letting you know about it, but I still think it's within my right as a council person to speak with Bob directly about it.
You're absolutely right, and it's your responsibility to let me know so I can be in the loop to settle this all out. Once again, he used his heavy equipment, which the value of the use of that and the savings to the town is a great deal more than some wood.
Okay, so let me just ask Mary Lou, since we have a town attorney now. Is there any issue with it?
You know what? I'm not gonna give legal advice at a public meeting. We have an executive session for something later. I'll be happy to talk to you guys about.
I would just like to speak on this too. The liaison positions, I just want to clarify, are at the supervisor's privilege. That is so that I keep informed about what's going on. You guys are asked to represent me and be my connection to either a department or a commission or board. And if there's a concern, it's really important that you let me know. I understand Bob's concern because this has come up before, and we all kind of agreed that that won't happen again, and we should definitely let, something's going on with a department, and you know that other person is the liaison. Out of respect, you let that person know. But in addition, I can't do my job if you don't come to me. If I find out about it through the grapevine or out of the later on after the fact. It's not fair that I haven't been notified. That's the reason you are the liaison. I mean, we don't even have to have liaisons. I don't have to, do that. But this is the whole idea of this, is to be a support system for the supervisor's office. And I would appreciate knowing that something came up that you had a concern about, and working through those, that whatever issue it is. I'm not saying for this particular, but anytime something comes up, I expect that you guys come to me and tell me so that I can address it, whether we decide to go and address it as a board, or if it's something that is, something I can handle as the supervisor. So I would like to remind everyone that this is, this is the responsibility of the liaison position. Of course, you can always talk to somebody else in any department if you choose, but if it's a serious issue that needs addressing, I'm going to reiterate that you need to go to the supervisor, myself, and you need to make sure that you're keeping the person who is responsible for that communication in the loop of this issue. It would have been appropriate, I think, to talk to Bob and to also talk to me. Probably me first, and then I would have probably said, you need to talk to Bob, and then I can, talk to him or whatever. But
Bob is an elected official, like we're elected officials. So, and quite frankly, I just wanted to hear what he had.
But that's fine.
And that's all right.
That's fine, Jen, but you still needed to, your responsibility was, you're not running things. You're supposed to come to me and let me know. That's all I'm saying. For me to find out after the fact, or find out at the town board meeting, is not okay, So I think that that's something that, let's move on, but for now, on the other hand, I just want to apologize for any embarrassment or anything that made you feel uncomfortable. We will talk about anything because there's nothing that you did wrong, and I want to apologize for in any way that you might have felt
I know that,
way.
but I still don't, I don't
Right.
feel like I should be agitated. The
Let
other
me-
thing
let
I
me
think
just-
it should be pointed out is that she talked to Bob, okay, but then she selectively chose who else to talk to about it. And I don't know why.
You're wrong. Bob called.
And I
And you
know.
didn't speak till right before the meeting.
No,
Okay, well,
Let me, I need to finish what I'm saying.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but I'm agreeing with what you're saying, that the channels should be there. And if it's gonna be communicated,
Now, let me just finish what I want to say, because I think this is important. It's always been understood that the highway department and I meet with the supervisors in all the towns once a month, and they all talk about how the superintendents of highways have ways to find ways to share services, to make deals with, and it's kind of an unwritten, policy that they do this. Whether we're going to be advised whether it's okay or not, I don't know, but I can tell you that it's been going on in every town for many years, and that's the way, we don't always have the formal agreements or the formal, because that's just the way it's been done in the past. That might have to change, I don't know, because we may have, as time goes on, some of the policies are looked at and we have to address them. But that's beside the fact, because what Bob did is what's traditionally been done, and what you did, you haven't overstepped in any way. There's nothing you did wrong. So if you were meant to feel that way in any way, I want to, express my apology for that, because that is.
I appreciate it.
Right.
Chris?
I just want to clarify that Councilman Metzger did not.
No,
Councilwoman
well, I did,
Metzger.
I did.
You were not my primary contact on this matter. And also, just that, in general, I'm very sorry that you feel singled out, but in general, town procurement law, the laws we're supposed to follow when we contract for services, often appear counterintuitive. They don't make common sense. We do have to follow them. So if something like this comes up, I certainly understand my colleague's sense of obligation to check
I
it out.
understand that as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But I feel like it went beyond that for some reason, and
Yeah, clearly that was the feeling, and I'm sorry that you got
Right.
that. But I did want to just say that there is this sense of we're trying to do our best to follow laws that.
I certainly appreciate that.
I have to say, it was a conversation between Bob and I. I didn't contact you about this. If Bob chose to share my conversation with him, that was his choice. But, you know, no one in this board, I have not sought to publicly humiliate you in any way. This conversation was shared with you.
Well,
So,
Well, I'm the liaison, I wish I had something I could say about it, but it was just a couple months ago when we went over the same issue with the lights on the generator for my water and sewer department that I am the liaison there, that you had a resident come to you complaining about the lights, and once again, I knew nothing about it until I walked in the door for a town board meeting. So this is the second time in a very short window, very short, Jen.
Okay.
really did. You've been heard, Bob. That's a sign.
Okay.
Could I just, Mr. Ryer, is it,
Yeah.
Mr. Ryer? And I just want to acknowledge also that your generous offer of your equipment is, I mean, it sounds like it's probably a win for the town. So, I mean, as a board member, I you know, thank you for that, your generosity in that matter. It's, to me, the issue is more about just transparency, or the public has knowledge that that's part of our exchange. You know, if it is, if barter is in the mix, then it should be like known to the public.
right, well, and to be clear, it didn't start out, it wasn't a barter. He didn't
Sure.
say, well, if I do this, you'll, you know.
Right, right.
And it wasn't that at all.
Right.
And, so.
But we do have a tradition of
So,
volunteerism
I mean,
too.
I appreciated him thanking me by doing
Right,
that.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
I think that's one of the reasons why they have the highway superintendent morning meetings together, so that they can see who can help out who. Right, Bob? It's once a month?
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, you know, Cal saved us $1,500 by rental of equipment.
Right.
Jimmy Lynn is saving us this year at least $10,000 on letting us use a screening machine to screen all the road sweeping, you know, for winter use. You know, our roller's sitting over Marbletown so they can pave tomorrow. You know, it's nonstop. It's whatever I got to do to save the town a buck, I'm going to do it. And as far as I can see through highway municipal law, there's nothing in there that says I can't do it. I mean, there are things in there about rentals and everything like that, but unless the lawyer sees something different, because I look under common sense and not lawyer speech. So, you know, if I get my hand slapped and say I can't do it, well, then we're not going to do it. So that'll be the bottom line.
And that would be a loss for the town. I mean,
Absolutely.
The last thing I want to do is put a chill on that great, you know, tradition.
And we
to
gotta
good
look at,
effect.
we gotta look at the other things we did, you know, we just accepted a roof for the bathhouse, we have volunteer electricians coming to do work on the bathhouse, and we have other places that people volunteer their time, and, you know, I think that we just have to, you know, be aware that there is some of that going on, and I do think it's probably a good idea that it's kept public, so it's not an issue that anybody thinks there's anything improper going on. But let me just ask Bob, it's my understanding that you have wood that people can take if they want it, right? That you sometimes have wood, and it's not like you singled out one person to
I
give them.
have an ongoing list at my office. Some people I don't even know. They call up, say, hey, if you happen to have some wood, can you drop it off? No problem. Most of the wood we take down on somebody's property. They tell us to leave the wood. Another thing that we've put into play, I mean, we have to put down, especially with the ash trees, where we take it down, where we transport it to, and that stays in an official file for all ash trees we take down in town. So, you know,
You're still documenting.
we're documenting everything. You know, that's just the, you know.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to town business. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from August and September.
I'll second it. Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh?
Yes. Councilman Kraslovsky, are you ready for committee report?
Sure. So, for the Environmental Commission, we have partnered with
Rochester.
Town of Rochester, thanks, it's like mouthful. Town of Rochester for Creek Week event. Haven't yet had a meeting since then, so I'll report out on how that went next month. The Environmental Commission has purchased frames and obtained intermunicipal agreement to print the natural resource inventory maps, so those will be hanging in this building soon for reference for planning and zoning meetings. And
Did you get those back? You did put them up yourself?
Laura Heedy, one of the
She picked
environmental,
them up.
she's coordinating the printing of them with Ulster County Planning,
Okay.
which is, they offered to do that for free.
Are they gonna stay in the rec center or talk to them?
These will be framed and placed here at the municipal center.
Okay, so it's
And
like
then next
additional
year,
set of
with the
copies.
next budget, we should have money enough to frame these at the rec center.
Were you gonna do new maps there, or just frame the ones that you have?
As long as Laura's still with us and can get more free maps, we'll
Yeah.
get refreshed
Yeah, 'cause they
maps.
could-
There are also
they-
2 additional maps that need to be added, I think, down there.
Because they've been beat up a little bit from
Yeah.
being
They have.
So the natural
falling
resource.
off the walls a few times.
Yeah, yeah. So the natural resources inventory maps, it was undertaken by the Environmental Commission years ago, and they're used as a planning and zoning resource.
So let's have them coordinate with Bill Brooks, because he is
Yeah.
compiling things that are gonna be hung up, mostly historical
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh, okay.
so we wanna make sure that, you know, we may have somebody else that works with him on that, maybe Carl,
Okay.
and so we can figure out.
It's on
where-
their agenda for the next
Yeah.
meeting to
No, it
figure
needs to
out.
be coordinated, it can't just be like, this is where we're hanging them.
Okay. While this is not an official partnered event, there are some members of the committee working on the Solarize event. So there is a Solarize event coming up, a community solar event, possibility of getting a free solar audit, etc. It will be at the Tilson Firehouse Wednesday, October 21st, 7 p.m. And point of contact on that, Amy Trumpeter, 658-7651. Again, it's not an official Environmental Commission event, but it is something that members are assisting with. Chamber of Commerce has the Pickle Festival coming up Sunday, November 22nd, 10 till 5. At the Rec Center again this year, $5 admission, kids are free. They're always happy to get new volunteers and can be reached at 845-204-8827 or rosendalepicklefest@gmail.com, and you can like them on Facebook. It's my Chamber of Commerce business. For the Justice Court, I reviewed their comptroller's report, the bank accounts, both bail and fine, rather bank statements for bail and fine accounts, the receipt books for bail and fines as well for both Judge Pape and McGinty, and found all numbers reconciled.
Can we just ask, did that letter, did the letter go out to the?
JCAP?
No, not JCAP, to the comptroller's office, for the request? No. Okay, I'll check. Do you know, Mandy? No, okay. Remember you
Making a note of
certifying
it.
that letter? Do you know if that went out?
I've had to send it out.
You did, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check, okay.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay. For the transfer station,
That went out, sorry, June sent
Yes.
that out.
Okay, that's what I wasn't sure, I
certified it.
mean, that
I
there
had
was
to
a
think
coordination between you and Chris and Jill, and I was just making
Yeah.
sure that that's.
I stamped it.
Good.
that was a while ago, yes.
Well, you
Um,
mentioned the comptroller, that's why I was asking.
Well, the
You're talking about the monthly.
Justice Court submits a report to the comptroller each
Yep.
month to certify what monies are coming in.
Triggered a thought.
So I look at it each month. For the transfer station, month of September, after paying Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency fees, Just to share, UCRRA fees came to $4,017.02. After that was paid, our transfer station still made $2,245.98. Additionally, $936 in metal, $320 in deposits.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. Coming up this Saturday, I believe, October 17th, the Resource Recovery Agency will be having a household hazardous waste collection event at the Flatbush address, 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. Renee has material on that at the transfer station. Also, they have some new recycling and composting materials, which she's happy to hand out to anybody interested in what can and can't be recycled and composted, as well as rain barrels and compost bins that the Resource Recovery Administration Agency has for sale. And that's it.
Good evening. Starting out with the ZBA, as you know, the steward has been cleared to do their modifications down at our Rosendale Steward store. We have taken in a final fee on area variance of $184.32, and any information on this additional is on file with the town. Next is the water and sewer. Last week at the town board workshop meeting, we discussed about the bids and that they came in, and where we're at, and if anybody would like additional information, that information is also on file with the town. The water total for the month was $22,967.15. Sewer total was $5,297.65, with a grand total of $28,264.80. And that completes the water and sewer. Rosendale Highway Department. Total monies taken in was $100. I'm sure Bob is gearing up for the winter very shortly here with equipment and stuff like that, and I won't go too much further on because you'll be coming on board later in the meeting. So once again, I want to thank the Town Highway Department for all their hard work and what you guys do. I do appreciate it. And I think that, the food pantry from the Rosendale Run, they got a lot of food down there. There was so much food that people donated and stuff, it was unbelievable. So that should help out the food pantry for a little while. And I think that sums it up.
Okay. Good evening. The building department has issued over 130 building permits so far this year. It's been a very busy year. The pool work is well underway. As you can see, all the piping is in and the rebar and the forming. And it was just about ready for the next process, which is shotcrete, this concrete spray. Right. But our engineering firm on the project, Weston & Sampson, came to the spec, and there's some they gave us a list of the number of things that have to be fixed before the shotcrete can go in. It's not a major thing, but it is an itemized list of things, details that need to be attended to. I made copies for
Good
each
to see
of
they're doing the job, right?
Right. I made copies for each of the board members, and the pool company is Mainline Pools out of just north of Philadelphia. They sent their engineer along with the Weston & Sampson engineer to the site on Friday, and the pool company is now coming up with a strategy to how to get these adjustments done as quickly as possible, so that the shotcrete can be poured, while we're still in the good pouring season. I have a report on that.
I know they're also changing the drainage. They're still working. We had talked about they may have to re-enter a new bid adjustment for the drainage, but my understanding is they're now trying to work on improvements to the old drainage system.
Right, it's still up in the air, and Michael Shade looked at that on Friday, but he doesn't have a report on it.
Okay.
So the dewatering of the site around the pool. The original route of piping and drainage was abandoned because of, it wasn't ideal, it was clay, and so with the new route, there's a riser and a collection sump, and piping out of that. There are a couple of choices of routes, and that's not chosen just yet. So Weston Sampson engineer Mike Shade reports back on that, and then it may go out for bid. So anyway, we'll see how, if the pool is upheld a little bit, if the pour is delayed. So I'll know more about that this coming week. The pool house, the volunteer crew led by Jack Walsh to rough in the electricals is to start within the next week, I think, wiring in at the pool house, and then immediately following J&A Roofing, who secured, won the bid to do the exterior cladding, soffit fascia, and gable ends. We'll start the cladding work as soon as the wiring rough-in is done. The code enforcement aspect of the building department, Ryan Howells, the deputy code enforcement official, has been now submitting daily reports. So he's got by the month, day by day, what he did at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and it's actually helped to organize his day really well and gives us a really good report of what's going on. He's pretty busy. It's a lot of calls, visits, data entry, code research on all the items he looks into, council calls to the Association of Towns and our town planner, Dave Plant. Assessor's office, they are still preparing for their move down the hall with shared service office with Marbletown. But that deal, of course, is pending based on the governor signing the shared use of the building with our two towns. So there's no projected date on when that might happen.
Yeah, I've talked to both the governor's office and the senator's office, and I've not gotten any confirmation of the date. So they have till the 6th of January to sign any of the bills that up for his so it is on the priority list, so the list comes up before that. I did, make case of the shared services. In fact, I got a letter saying that the state has accepted the shared services that we did with the assessor's office. I just got the email today, so that has been officially accepted as the 1% savings that we did with the two towns. But we'll still do it.
Right.
We have it for the shared office.
Right. The bookkeeping review that I do, just one board member oversees another pair of eyes on bookkeeping, and that's still 100% matched. They're registered to the bank's statement. I do have, there is a little bit of a challenge of trying to share computer time, because I need to get on their computer until we have maybe a better solution somewhere. So I would kind of take Kim or Doris or Carol off a computer in their office and occupy it, so it's a little tricky.
Yeah, because it's the same, they have to use the same accounts to do
Right.
their billing and things like that, so it's hard, yeah.
The planning board, I mean, I could report on that for a half hour, but I guess I'll keep it simple to the headline.
Did you get the, I stuck on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was this unusual board meeting, the timing with the planning board meeting, and that there were 2 planning board meetings since our last public board meeting. September meeting, the Stewart site plan is approved, including the revisions as noted, which are the lighting plan, where the planning board adopted the Ulster County Planning Board's recommendations, which basically is less glaring lights, less light trespass, and prettier lighting. Also, the planning board's recommendations on street trees and plantings. There's going to be a sidewalk in front. Let's see, the red brick on the Stewarts is actually going to be whitewashed, so it'll have more of an old-fashioned look. And they're now proposing a new idea, actually, of a walk-up ice cream window on the side, which I think everybody seems to like that idea, because it's free up for registering. Several minor subdivisions, no big headlines, I could talk about them all, but,
Just for summer.
yeah, all right. Hudson HRBR, they had submitted their demolition plan, site plan review, and that they had to come back to the October meeting, which happened last Thursday, and there had been a referral to the county planning board about if the demolition were happening 500 feet from a county road, would the SWIP need to be drafted? That's the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. Anyway, it's complicated. Whether it be the project itself, the demolition of the buildings themselves being 500 feet from the road, or the property in question be 500 feet from the road. The county came back to finish the building.
Okay.
So they're free to demolish at this point, take down the old buildings. I didn't get that yet. The October meeting I missed. I was at the candidates night, and anyway, the compilation of that meeting takes a couple weeks because it's really complex to get the minutes. But I can find that out. That's submitted. Just got this. It is not noted. Right.
Okay.
No revenues from the planning board. Oh, the building department, back to that, took in total fees collected in the building department, $4,441 for the month of September. The Economic Development Commission, no meeting this past month, and looking for new members. So anybody interested in being on the Economic Development Commission, now that it's a very small commission, it's light and nimble. Very light and nimble, we can make quick decisions.
New people.
Could be very exciting. So you can contact me or Mandy and get a form. And, that's it, I'm done.
Youth Commission, at their meeting, Ernest talked about he had a meeting with staff, and they've started this new way of operating at the youth center, where each of the staff members are taking on a project of their own creation and are taking ownership of it, and they're doing some really interesting things. Rec 8 is doing a chess tournament. Ashley's doing this great, there's a wonderful Halloween event planned at the youth center on Halloween. There's a parade and haunted house, and it sounds very elaborate. There's a young kids version and a teenage version in the evening. And so anyway, it sounds really great. And another aid is doing a fundraiser, planning a fundraiser for the Youth Commission in November. So they've got a lot going on. They had a very successful pumpkin decorating party with a DJ the night before the Rosendale runs. It was really well attended. Lots of kids, some kids dancing.
A lot
Very
of staff
sweet.
members showed up.
A lot of staff members, yeah. There were a lot of people there. It was really great. Let's see. That's about it for the Youth Commission. They made a recommendation for an appointment, which we'll be acting on tonight. And they're planning to start up the Rent-A-Kid program again, which they had in the past, which is really great. It's basically teenagers, kids can sign themselves up to do, it could be any kind of task. It could be gardening, it could be shoveling, walkways, anything like that. And people in the community who need help, maybe elderly people who can't, shovel the walkway, can't have these kids available. And the rec center, Ernest will make the matches happen. So it's a great way for kids to earn and help in the community. Very nice program. Let's see, and the youth center took in $762.94. Well, the clothing, the clothing took in, St. Pauli's took in $262.94. And then round out teachers, I can't, it doesn't read the whole thing, but there's a $500.
Oh, they gave us money to buy some kind of television, was it?
A week.
A week,
Oh.
yeah, they got a donation
Very nice.
specifically for that. I was gonna say, that's not typical month, what's going on there?
Let's see, police department took in $30, the town clerk took in $8,296.50. I'm looking for my rec commission. I actually, I had to miss the last rec commission meeting.
I'm sure it was mostly about the Rosendale Run.
But they talked about the runs. They were also talking about the certain budget and revenue raising in 2016. But those minutes should be on file with the clerk.
Do you have anything on dogs?
Yeah, I usually do have something from Ed, but I don't. He didn't give me
We
something
really,
this week.
we really need to get a deputy dog control officer. That's
Yes.
something that,
Yes. Here.
anybody that knows anyone that's, would like a job that loves dogs.
Yes.
we're looking for someone.
It's very part-time to help Ed,
I don't think so.
deputy dog control officer. It's mainly on weekends, to help him out on weekends.
Sometimes it's mostly the kennel, going to the kennel and taking care of the dogs.
Walking the dogs.
Good.
Yeah.
That's advertised on our website.
And the total for the rec commission, this month was $2,969.30.
We have a big package here.
Yeah.
I think you guys know that we ran into some problems with the virus, so they had, it was like one of those olden ransom things. Did I mention that last month? So they're back on track now. We were lucky, we were lucky that Silas did his job because they did send an automatic, it sends emails to everybody else, and Jill had gotten an email and went to open it, not thinking it was from the accountant's office, and our protection stopped it from, sending out, destroying all our files, which was very good, but it wasn't good for them. They had to redo a lot of their work. So that means that, there's quite a lot of stuff in here, and it's some of the older stuff that, because we didn't get it last month because of, what? Checking for. And you can see that she did send the reconciliations here. General fund, $641,044.48. Highway, $424,016.87. Capital Highway, $36,180.65. Capital, $7,208.46. Rec sub, $25,451.83. Capital Rec, $792, and Light, $9,526.99. Capital Highway will go down because we did get the truck, got his truck, and we haven't paid that yet, so that'll come out of that. The days start to run down. Couple of appointments. Make a motion to hire Matthew Gottstein as rec aide for no more than 20 hours a week at $9 per hour. Matt had been hired as a youth center camp counselor, and he did get approval to work in the youth center also, but we kind of need something in here to let him continue to work as a regular worker. It says 20 hours, but really he's basically slotted just work 1 day a week, but we'll keep it as under 20, and that way if they have an event or he needs to fill in for someone, he can do that.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Councilman Hughes?
Yes.
Councilman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Vislotsky?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Wolf? Yes. A recommendation from the Youth Commission to appoint Jonathan Vermilia to the Youth Commission. I'd like to make a motion. I don't have that term. Do you know what that is?
Not offhand, but it's on.
Can I say for the term that's open? That's on. Huh? Well, whichever one is.
Long.
What's
Oh, do
that?
they? They both expire at the same time.
Yeah.
I second. He was 100% supported by the commission.
Great. Roll, Councilman Hughes?
Yes.
Councilman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Vislotsky?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Wolf? Yes. I'd like to make a motion to reappoint William Graham to the Board of Assessment Review. This is the one appointment that's done in September rather than in January, February, like we normally do. That's a term for 1 year. Is it 1 year? That expires, I'm sorry, 9/30/20.
I'll second
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Unless she wants to.
Very
It's
good.
yours. Move into that.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes?
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger?
Yes.
Councilman Vislotsky?
Yes.
Councilman Ryan?
Yes.
Supervisor Wolf? Yes. And I just want to see you two stop fighting for.
The assessor.
Okay.
Did you notice?
Yes, stop fighting over
John, I
Mike,
took
okay?
that and I set it way over here, so, okay.
Yeah.
He's the big man of
Don't
Tampa.
mind y'all.
So, out of consideration for our highway super, we're gonna take number 11, which is towards the back of the pile, and him.
Aw.
Oh, come on, you don't wanna
Wait,
wait?
can you stay till 11?
Yeah. I might smoke.
We enjoy his company. Andy, do you know what resolution this is?
I do. It's,
Or is it 6, maybe?
Nope.
I shouldn't guess. If I guess, I'm gonna get it wrong.
Five?
You're close.
Bob, do you want to talk?
Basically, in front of you have a resolution for a new polycaster sander. This unit records, we have one truck that belongs to the buildings and grounds. It's a 3/4 ton pickup, and it's an old stainless steel sander that's on it now. Problem is when it's loaded, the truck is just way overloaded. It's a 2009 pickup. We want it to last a little bit. So we can get this one and reuse the other sander and put it in a 1993 International, because we do not have any backup whatsoever on any trucks. What we have is what we have. So this will give us a spare sander that'll be able to use in case of breakdowns. And that's basically it. There's 3 bids there that I put out for, and I believe the Hudson Valley Truck and Trailer, this Trailer King, and
Yeah.
one other one.
Anybody have any questions before we do this?
Just to clarify, the International is one of the larger trucks that can take the weight.
It's bigger than a pickup, bigger than our 1 tons, but smaller than our big trucks.
So you're getting the right equipment for the right truck.
Yeah.
All right. Resolution 10/2015-5, purchase a new 1.8-yard polycaster sander. Whereas the town of Rosendale Highway Department has needed to replace the stainless steel sander on the 2009 F-350 Ford truck to reduce the weight on said truck with poly body sander. And whereas the old sander has been refurbished and is being installed in a heavier duty spare truck. And whereas the town highway superintendent, Robert Gallagher, has researched the 3 bids received for poly sanders, which are made a part of and attached here too, makes the recommendation to purchase the poly sander from Hudson River Truck and Trailer, 12 Commerce Street Extension, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12603, with a cost of $4,895. Whereas the poly sander will be installed in-house by our mechanic. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Rosendale hereby authorizes the town of Rosendale highway superintendent recommendation to purchase said poly sander from the recommended vendor using highway capital reserves. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Rosendale authorize supervisor to sign said agreement on behalf of the town of Rosendale.
I second.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Krasowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ryan,
Yes.
Supervisor Walsh.
Yes.
Thank you very much. On a personal note, I assume you're going to be sending Anita Peck a thank you letter.
What's that?
I'm assuming you're going to send Anita Peck a thank you letter
Yes.
for her donation.
Yes.
Can I request that a thank you letter also be CC'd to Heritage Energy on that?
Sure.
I just appreciate it. After spending 22 years there,
Yeah.
they're able
Well,
to do
Tara
that.
usually drafts the letters, but I would say maybe, we'll talk and make sure that it has the appropriate.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And you're welcome to stay till.
I'd love to, but I'm going to be out the door at 5 unless you want to join me, Chris.
You're a tough negotiator.
I'm going to get him out the door by quarter
Bob's been under the weather, so we're trying to get him home to bed.
Oh.
So we had been submitted to us the Rosendale Pickle Festival site plan. Billy's not here today. I don't think anybody's here representing the Pickle Festival, is there? This is something that I'm pretty sure is similar to the one they did last year. A lot of work went into it, some modifications. I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the Pickle Festival site plan with Dave Nassimi's oversight and stamp of approval. and with an understanding that they contact all emergency services, police department, fire department, mobile life support, anybody else that's, you might think is appropriate for.
You mentioned highway.
Highway, let's add the highway on there, thank you. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Good job.
You did third.
Roll vote, Councilman Hughes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Metzger,
Yes.
Councilman Kozlowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
Supervisor Wall.
So, Mary Lou has joined us today to help us sift through the chicken code. We have gone through it, we've had some comments, we've had a chance to review the comments. And we just want to make sure we're on the same page. I didn't get to read the version, so. Why don't we do what we kind of did in our workshop? You know, so let's talk about the things that we kind of agree need to be changed. I would say, first off, we're going to come up with a list of an application and a permit for the building department, and we will take out the recommendation to the planning board and the letters, the signing of letters of neighbors, take those two out of the mix. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yep.
So we had some changes in the number of chickens.
Did we decide to, just the one, the farmer on Tilson Road who wanted some language in there about
About the
the
dogs, right?
agricultural zone, about agricultural districts?
We decided that wasn't legally
Wasn't
necessary.
Right, agricultural
Right.
districts, they
Or
can have all the
Yeah.
chicken paper.
Right.
If they're a county
It's not
ag district.
necessary,
Right.
you know, maybe people are nervous because they read this and they think it affects something.
Yeah, but we can't overrule that, the ag district rules from ag and market, so they're set.
So,
There was talk about ducks.
yes, that was something that came up when we talked with, when Bob and John were meeting. And I think we thought that maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing to put the ducks in there as a fowl that we accept. I don't know if everybody agrees to that. It just got to be, it seemed like because of the way this law is written, we don't want to tell people that are, you know, already have ducks that it's wrong for them to have ducks. So I don't know if anybody has any feelings on that, or if that becomes a separate law altogether. I don't know.
The duck law?
The duck law.
There's, I've seen, I know people not in the town of Rosendale who own chickens and ducks, and they don't seem to impose any more. I mean, they don't create more noise, they don't create
Well,
more.
we haven't really done any research on ducks, but I think that there were a couple of comments that, hey, I don't want to have to get rid of my ducks now because the chicken code doesn't allow it. Does anybody have a problem with adding ducks to
Well,
being allowed?
there's, I mean, I really like ducks around property. But
Wild,
they do
too.
fly. They do fly much more readily, so that's
I think
might maybe worth considering.
We did talk
The-
about that they would need a different kind of pen, and because of that they fly, you know, they might not.
They're
be-
pretty much
They're also
free.
like wild ducks that can come and go as they
Absolutely.
please. So
My-
it doesn't really seem like.
My grandmother raised
Yeah.
white ducks, and before you knew it, a few years into it, we had a few mallards that decided to join the flock, you know.